Shanks, Shirley, Shorty, Mother Wilmoth. Depending on where her light shined in your life, you knew what to call her. Today, I want to pay homage to a woman who was not only an awesome mother and grandmother, she was a community activist and a real pioneer of change. She was my mom, Shirley J. Wilmoth. You may not recognize her name, but you will understand how her life's work affects every grandparent in New York State. A real coal miner's daughter, Mom was born and raised in the mountains of Galloway, West Virginia, where people worked hard and knew how to make a dollar out of 15 cents. My mom was the youngest girl of 11 children. A chubby kid, she always tried to keep up with the other kids. She would get mad and cry when they outran her, but she would try even harder the next time. She was determined not to be left out or left behind out of all the fun. All the children in that area went to what they called primer school, which is modern-day kindergarten. It was a 2-room schoolhouse with a potbelly stove and one window. She was frequently assigned to fetch water from the well down the road. Carrying 2 heavy buckets from the well wasn't easy. It required at least 2 rest stops and a drink of the water on the way back. This was her daily exercise, by the way, so by the time she was ready to move up, she was a lot quicker and stronger and could outrun those other kids any day. In 1955, West Virginia schools were integrated. Mom was one of the first Black students bused to the local high school at the age of 15. They were not very welcoming to Black students who were new to the school. Like so many students in the desegregated South, she had to suffer racism, name-calling, and degradation handed to them on a daily basis. I believe all of this instilled a certain type of determination, resilience, and resolve that would stay with her for the rest of her life. By the time she was in her 30s, she had been married and divorced and raising us 5 kids alone. Our neighborhood on the east side of Rochester became our village, with every race and nationality you can think of. We didn't have much in the way of money, but somehow she managed to make us feel rich. We didn't miss any meals. We always had presents at Christmas time, and every Easter there was a big dinner at Cafe Pagoda Chinese restaurant, which became a family tradition. By 1986, all 5 of us kids were grown and out of the house, and Matthew, her first grandchild, was born. They were inseparable. She doted on him, and he was the love of her life. Their favorite thing to do, besides thrift store shopping, was dancing. She would pick him up and twirl him and dip him until his giggles would make her laugh so hard she had to stop. Then they would do it again and again until they were both exhausted. He was everybody's baby. In 1988, his brother Marcelo was born. They were the cutest little curly-haired boys you ever saw, my mom's pride and joy. Although they were my younger sister's sons, Mom stepped in to raise them when my sister wasn't able to. She soon realized there was not much support in the community for a grandmother raising grandkids. So she began meeting up with 2 of her friends who were in the same situation, older parents with young kids to raise all over again. In 1989, she started Skip Generation, a support group for grandparents raising grandchildren. Not only did she start Skip Generation, she went all the way to Albany to have New York State recognize and notify grandparents before their grandchildren were placed in foster care, giving them the opportunity of guardianship instead of foster care. Today, Skip Generation is part of the Hillside family of agencies, supporting grandparents throughout Monroe County. In 2005, after a spectacular day of thrift store shopping and lunch, Mom laid down for a nap. and never woke up. 3 months later, my nephew Matthew was killed. It was shocking and almost unbearable. We cried and cried every day for weeks. It seemed like nothing could console us or stop our tears. Then we found the book. Apparently, in the days leading up to her passing, Mom had written each one of us a personal letter in a spiral notebook she kept in her bedroom. She knew she was leaving and wanted to make sure we were okay. My letter started with the words, "Stop crying. It's gonna be okay." That day, I listened to my mother and stopped crying. Today, I know she and Matthew are together in heaven, twirling and dipping, dancing and laughing, and we are okay.